Hey guys, hey, thank you guys so much for coming out. Real quick before we start the show, they made me do some like safety warnings for you guys, just because there's a lot of people in here and it's a small room. First of all, in case of like a fire or some sort of emergency, you'll want to leave through that exit right there because of the camera and the tech over there. You're not going to be able to go through that one, so that exit door. Second, it gets pretty raunchy during one joke at the end, and they're making me warn you guys about that, so I'm going to tell you guys the punchline to that joke right now. We're just going to get it out of the way. That joke is also going to be the last line of the show. So when you guys hear that punchline, you'll know this show's over. Okay? All right, y'all ready? Yeah. The punchline is, fucking a sloppy old microwave banana peel. I'm going to say it one more time. Fucking a sloppy old microwave banana peel. But you know what? You guys can just forget about that right now because it's time to start the show. Let's do it. Y'all ready for this? Aidan Bieger stand-up special. 2025. Come on, y'all, we came from the bottom. We're coming up to the top. First, not the last. Let's go. 3, 2, 1, hey! Thank you. Thank you, guys. All right. My name is Aidan Bieger, and something about me is I love rap music. You guys might have been able to tell. I've always loved rap music. I like hearing the rappers talk about their lavish lifestyles, you know, the crazy things they do with these massive amounts of money that they have. And recently, I've been trying to incorporate parts of rap songs into my own life, because I can't rap, you know. In case y'all didn't know, white people can't rap. Anytime a white person raps, it's actually just poetry set to music. Which is great. I mean, shout out Macklemore, T.S. Eliot of his time. But like I said, I've been trying to incorporate parts of rap music into my own life. And there's one rapper I really like. His name is Future. Clap if you like Future. Let's see. Okay, yeah, thank you. Future has this song, it's called Rich Sex. And the lyrics go like this. Baby, let's go have rich sex. 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 Yeah. You can put the AP on while we do it. I'ma keep the AP on while we do it. You can put my chains on while you get to it. I'ma keep my chains on while you ride on it. Now, that last part doesn't rhyme, but Future makes it work. And I really like this idea, you know, of putting on all your jewelry and having sex. But you might have noticed by looking at me like I don't have a lot of sex. So, but I was like, hey, I can still do this, you know, I can still make this work. And so the other day I woke up, I put on my earrings, I put on my bracelet, put on my chain, put on my rings, and I went and I did the dishes. Call that rich dishes. Other day, it was a Tuesday. I woke up, I put on my earrings, put on my bracelet, put on my chain, put on my rings. Then I went and chilled. Call that a rich Tuesday. Recently, though, I've been doing a lot of rich arguing on the phone with my mom about all this jewelry that I'm buying, but she just doesn't understand the lifestyle, okay? She just doesn't get it. I wasn't always this cool, though, you know? Wasn't always this swagged out. I didn't always look this SoundCloud rapper, you might say. Back in middle school, I actually looked a lot different. I know some of y'all might have like a picture in your minds of what I look like, but I'm just gonna paint that picture for you. If you're sitting out there thinking, hey, this guy seems like he likes fedoras, you would be someone who is extremely correct. Y'all, I had 5 fedoras in middle school, one for every season. I had winter, spring, summer, fall, fancy dinner with grandma. I'd also always wear graphic tee on my skinny little torso, pair of skinny jeans on my bottom, and then I had a pair of brown leather high tops that would lace and zip up, because I like the security that double fastening provided. Right? Now, finally, to complete the ensemble, I smell like ass. I could not for the life of me remember to bring deodorant with me, so I would frequently go to school unarmed. Now, now you might be thinking, Aidan, why didn't you just ask people to borrow deodorant? Y'all, I did, okay? But there's only so many times you can ask, right? First time you ask, they're happy to help. They're like, oh yeah, of course, bro, I got you. Second time you ask, they're a little more hesitant. They're like, oh, come on, man, again? Oh, I guess I got you. Third time you ask, they start to see you differently. Like you a walking fart. Luckily, I learned my lesson one day in choir class, actually. It was a Tuesday, right? I was late. I ran into class, fedora flapping in the wind. And I run up the steps of the risers to my place in the back row. I was in the tenor section. And that day, we were singing a choral arrangement of Vance Joy's Riptide. I was scared of dentists and the dark. I was scared of pretty girls and starting conver. Oh, hell. Now, y'all, I had this very problematic cycle I would get into where I would smell myself, and this in turn would make me start to stress sweat, which in turn would make me stink more. Then I get nervous about stinking too much, would make me sweat more, which would make me stink more, and so on and so forth. It was horrible. And my parents always said, you know, once you smell yourself, other people have been smelling you for 3 days. And I was like, well, what if you've been smelling yourself for 3 days? Does the math multiply? What's going on? So at this point, I'm in choir. Y'all, the fumes from my pits are fucking in my brain. Okay, I'm sweating like a pig. So at a break in the music, I throw out a, hey, who brought fish for lunch? Try and throw them off the scent. Nobody replied. Couple kids gave me weird looks though. I was like, oh fuck, they all know it's me. The bassist started to know, so I was like, shit, these kids are gonna beat my ass after school. Because if y'all didn't know, nothing middle school boys love more than beating up a stinker. But then I spotted in the corner, there's a humidifier sitting on a little desk. And so I fake a bathroom break and I run over to it. And on the desk next to it, there's these little essential oil containers. No. And I see orange flavor, and I'm like, I'm not a juice. Pass. I see patchouli flavor, and I'm like, I don't know. My dad always said drug dealers smell like patchouli, and I can't be smelly and a drug dealer, so pass. And I see peppermint, and I'm like, yeah. Situation requires the big guns, you know? Now I'll just smell like jolly old St. Nick. And my gift to the children, odorless pits. So I take it, I do a couple drops under each underarm, and I repeat that process like, I don't know, 8 times for each pit. I take a sniff, no more stink. So class ends and we congregate by the door. I'm strutting around like a walking candy cane, you know? I go up to that boy I was borrowing deodorant from, I'm like, hey, smell me now, asshole. You know, I'm trying to think what fedora is going to go with this new holiday scent, right? And then suddenly I let out a, no! The pain was incredible. It was like there were little goblins eating my pit hairs. I'm freaking out at this point. I'm like, what do? Is this a 911 situation? So I go up to the smartest girl in my class, Natalie Pouget, and I'm like, hey, Natalie Pouget, what is an essential oil? And she's like, well, it's a concentrated amount of blah, blah, blah. It's a form of alcohol. And I'm like, alcohol? Fuck. No, I definitely can't call the police. I'm underage. So I run out of there. I'm trying to go to the bathroom, right? And so I get in there, and I'm trying to scrub it out with soap and water, but that only seems to be making it worse at this point. So I take off my TACOCAT, spelled backwards, it's TACOCAT t-shirt. I throw it on the floor. I douse myself in water. I take off my skinny jeans. I unlace my shoes. I try and take them off. Why can't I take them off? Oh, the zipper. Why did I choose double fastening? Fuck! I get those shoes off. Now I'm soaking wet, chilling in the bathroom. I'm like, I gotta camp out here. I gotta chill here for like 30 minutes. So I slump up against the wall. I'm hanging out. And this kid walks in.
Oh my God.
And he's like, He's like, hey, aren't you that boy that does theater? I'm like, nah, man, I do alcohol now. Also, could you hand me my pants? He did. He was really nice about it. But it's fun being a kid, you know. It's like you get to make mistakes like that. It's easy. No one really judges you that much. You can forget about it. Luckily, I did mature from that phase. I started to remember to wear deodorant. I actually got a job after middle school. I got a job as a ski coach. I would ski coach. I ski coach after I ski raced. And for those of y'all who don't know what ski racing is, it's pretty much this sport where white people go up onto a mountain and then they compete to see who can spend the most money on hot chocolate in winter clothes. It's pretty fun. I highly recommend to those who haven't done it. But I learned a lot ski coaching. Learned a lot about myself, about skiing, about working with kids. But there was one kid in particular who taught me more than anybody else. I met him. It was an assessment day. And what assessment day is where you're assigned like a random group of kids, and you have to assess their skill level to put them into groups for the rest of the year. And that day I was assistant coach with my dad. We had U8s, which is 6 and 7-year-olds. And the great thing about U8s is actually you don't have to assess them because they're all terrible. They all suck, so our job was pretty easy. We're hanging out in snow. We got these brightly colored little tater tots around us, and we're waiting on one kid. We're missing one. About 10 minutes after the scheduled meeting time, this lady comes up, and following behind her is this kid who I can really only describe as having an air of greatness. I could tell just by looking at this boy that he was going to be a star. First of all, he had his ski boots on the wrong feet, which, for those of y'all who haven't put on ski boots before, putting your ski boots on the wrong feet would be like waking up in the morning, putting your pants on backwards, putting your underwear on your head, and just being like, I'm going with it. Now, this boy was also missing his helmet, his goggles, his gloves, his jacket, and his poles. I was like, hell yeah, I like how this kid rolls, you know? His mom had all of his stuff. She comes up to us and she just dumps it at our feet, and then she leaves. But before she goes, she's like, oh, by the way, this is Clive. And I was like, oh, wow, what a name, you know? Clive. Kind of sounds like a fancy garnish. Let me get a little Clive on that. Mind you, this whole time Clive was crying like crazy, just bawling his eyes out. But we like help him get his stuff on, and he eases up. And then my dad makes an announcement. He's like, okay, everybody, for this first run, we're just going to do a warm-up, you know, take it easy, get our blood flowing. And Clive suddenly pipes up from the back, and he's like, hey, I want to ski double black diamonds. And I was like, fuck yes, Clive, you little ripper. Survival of the fittest type shit. Let's start off crazy. But we couldn't do that, you know, because the rest of the group would probably die. And so we head down to the lift, and I'm following Clive because he's like the coolest person I've ever met. I got to hang out with this kid. And we're in line. And my dad's like, okay, remember, guys, at the top, we're doing Jolly Jug, which is a blue, easy run. And Clive starts yapping, and he's like, no, I want to ski double black diamonds. And I was like, shh, Clive. They just don't know how good you are. But they gonna see you shine. They gonna see you shine because of me. I was gonna be the Rocky to his Creed, you know? So me and Clive, we get on the lift, right? Which is a struggle because Clive is 4 feet tall, but we do it. And we get on the lift, right? We riding up. The wind is blowing. I'm trying to act normal. And Clive's like, I'm bored. And I'm like, facts! Guys, he's so relatable. I'm like, Clive, what kind of stuff you like to do for fun? I like to watch movies on my iPhone 8. I'm like, oh, tight shit, yeah. Kind of movies you like to watch? Dark Knight. I was like, yeah. That explains your edginess, bro, for real. And he was like, yeah, I'm pretty much the Joker. And I was like, yeah, you are, actually. I see that for you. And then he leans in, he's like, you know, the Joker skis double black diamonds. And I was like, that's true. That's true, Clive, he does. But you know what else? Sometimes the Joker has to be a team player. Which, y'all, I don't think that's true. I don't think the Joker does have to be a team player. But it was fine to shut him up. And so we tumble off the lift. And we're in the back of the group now. And my dad does one more announcement. He's like, hey guys, remember, this is a warm-up run. No pressure to ski fast. And Clive, he tugs on my arm. So I lean down. And he's like, I'm gonna ski fast. And I was like, fuck yeah, that's my creed right there. Yeah, boy. And so we take off. I'm following Clive. We're skiing down. And pretty much immediately, the entire rest of the group is gone. It's just me and Clive at the back. And I'm like, all right, he's just giving everyone a head start. How generous, how generous. And so we get to the main pitch of the run where it gets like a little bit steeper, And we're going and we're skiing, and suddenly Clive just sits down in the middle of the run, which is generally frowned upon. But hey, this boy does what he wants. And so, I ski up next to him. What's up, buddy? What's going on? He bursts into tears. I can't do it. I'm in disbelief. I'm like, you can't what? He's like, I can't ski it. I was lying. And I'm like, no, Clive, you weren't lying. You just gotta believe in yourself. And he's like, no, I was lying. I can't ski it. And I'm pissed at this point. I'm like, all right, Clive, you know what? I was lying too. Joker never works in teams. Dang. Now, mind you, the whole rest of the group is at the bottom, and they're watching this go down. They can see all of this happening. Clive's like, hey, I want my mom. And so I grab him, and I'm like, Clive, listen to me. If you ever want to see your mom again, we have to ski down this run. So it's not a great idea. This just made him cry a lot more. And then he just pops off his skis. And I'm like, damn, Clive, great thinking outside of the box. So I grab his skis. And now Clive's sitting there with no skis. Whole group is watching us, surely waiting for a skiless Clive to, dazzle them. And that's when I'm hit with a genius idea. I'm like, Clive, we're going to slide down. And he's like, what? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, no. And so I push him. Just a little bit. Just enough to get him going, And so we're sliding down at this point. Clive is screaming his head off. I'm trying to play it cool. I'm like, hey, Clive, just pretend we're in The Incredibles, like sneaking into a secret ice space or something. And he's like, I hate that movie. And I'm like, ah, yeah, for real. Bad movie. And I realized we're actually making surprisingly good time down this run. I realized this is probably the fastest Clive's ever gone. Hell, it might be the fastest I've ever gone. Yeah! And so this ski patroller comes, and he comes in front of us, and he looks pissed, man. So I grab Clive, and we stop. And ski patroller's like, hey, you boys probably shouldn't be doing this. And I was like, yeah, well, actually, don't worry. I'm a coach, so we're good. And he was like, nope, I am going to worry. You're a coach. And I was like, well, technically assistant coach. And he was like, nope, we're not doing this. And so he grabs me and Clive. And now Clive and I are going down the mountain attached to this ski patroller with one giant red safety leash. And me and Clive are looking at each other like, bro, we had this handled. Like, we were good. And we get to the bottom. Ski patroller takes Clive and he plops him back into his skis. I thank the ski patroller. Clive doesn't because he's a boss, but I did. And the whole group is freaking out, They're like, oh my God, are you okay? Like, what happened? And Clive's eating this shit up. He's like, I totally could have done it if I had my poles. I was fine. He was the problem. And I was like, bro, yeah, okay, yeah. Deny, Clive. We good. So we get into the bottom and we go inside. We got to tell the head coach about what happened. And Clive is immediately kicked out of the program for the rest of his life, and I never see him again. But, I don't know, wherever he is, shout out Clive. But let me tell you, that kid taught me more about the art of ski racing than probably anybody ever on the mountain. He taught me more about myself, about coaching. He popped up out of nowhere and created this chaos like I'd never seen. Kind of like the Joker.
Yeah.
Y'all, my parents are divorced, so I partied in high school. Yeah, I was cool. I didn't start off super cool. It took me a while to get into the party scene, My parents, they lived in separate houses, and my dad would frequently go out of town, and he would leave his house empty. And so the first time he did this, I realized, I was like, hey, should capitalize on this empty house, throw a party. And so I gathered all my friends, and I was like, all right, boys, function at 8 tonight at mine. We're like, all right, so we start planning. First thing we do, hit up the alcohol plug. You know what we got to do. This is me. Little shout out for all the over 21s in the audience. Sell alcohol to middle and high schoolers. I'm looking at y'all because they've never been in a liquor store. They don't know how much that shit costs. That night, we bought a bottle of Tito's that was this big, for no less than $75. And that didn't include tip, okay? But we were like, steal. And so two of my friends take it. They go to my dad's house. I'm at my mom's. I'm getting ready, you know, trying to figure out which fedoras fit in the party vibe. And I get a call. I'm like, yo, what's up? My friend's like, hey, Pete just threw up in the driveway. And I'm like, what? He just threw up in the driveway? They're like, yeah, he broke into the Tito's. He threw up in the driveway. And I'm like, yes! Somebody's already throwing up. Party hasn't even started. This shit's about to be crazy. I'm like, I'll be over in a second. So I go over and we clean up the vomit. And we go inside. We got the Tito's. We're chilling like some bosses. We open the crib. We're like waiting. 8 o'clock rolls around. And then we realize, oh, fuck. We forgot to invite people. So we pull out our phones, we start texting everybody we know. We hit up every single girl on our phones, and sure enough, man, all 3 of them show up. That shit was off the hook. So by 9:30, we got a pretty bumping party going, you know? All the lights are on. We got that music softly playing in the background. Everybody was kissing. That's real. Everybody was kissing. I don't know what was going on that night. 3 of my friends got their first kiss that night with the same girl. She was trying to get me too, but I was bobbing and weaving. I was just trying to start like a mono outbreak or something. I don't do that freaky. Anyway, we're also playing Pong because, you know, we cool. And we're filling up the cups with vodka and lemonade, this cocktail that we invented. And absolutely delicious. And my friend who I'm playing against, he doesn't realize there's vodka in the cups. He thinks it's just lemonade. So anytime he drinks a cup, he also takes a shot of vodka. So I'm playing him, and on like cup number 4, drinks the cup, takes a shot, does a spin, vomits on the floor. I'm like, all right, vomit number 2. Yeah, this shit getting wild, We think he's dead for a second, but he's not, he's good. So we get him in the bathroom. He spends like the next, 7 hours with his head in the toilet, but it's cool, we're watching him, we're taking selfies with him and stuff. And I guess one of my friends saw him and was really like grossed out by the vomit or something and made him really uncomfortable. He's like, Aidan, I need to go lay down. And I was like, all right. So he goes into my bedroom, he lays down in my bed, gets under my sheets, and vomits in my bed. But I'm like, hey, vomit number 3, rule of 3s, baby, this party's going in the history books, yo. So, but then a girl saw him vomit. That really grossed her out. So she decides she's gonna vomit on my floor. And then she's gonna vomit on my couch. And then she's gonna vomit on my wall. And then she's gonna go up the stairs and vomit on the stairs. And then she's gonna vomit in my kitchen. And then her friend's helping her out. She's like, oh my God, Carly, are you okay? Blah, vomits all over her face. And then she vomits in my kitchen sink. Y'all, this might have been the greatest party in the history of parties. I don't know. Never a party with this much vomit. Now, the house was a mess. We got to clean that shit up. And my dad's coming home the next morning. Luckily, great group of friends. They all come over the next morning. We clean it, and it's spotless, right? And I think I'm good, so I go back home, chill at my mom's house. And later that night, I get a text, and it's from my dad, and it has an image attachment. So I open it up, and it's a picture of a bag of vomit sitting in the hallway outside of his bedroom. And he follows it up with a text message. Care to explain? ... And I'm like, shit. So I go over to his house, and I walk in the door, and he's sitting at the kitchen counter like some sort of evil warlord boss person. So I go up, and I'm like, Dad, I'm here to confess. I'll tell you the truth about what happened that night. I got food poisoning, and I came over here to throw up. Now, he doesn't buy it. Nah, that was a horrible lie. He sees through it, and he's like, Aidan, you got something that really happened. I'm like, okay. I'm like, Dad, I had a girl over. And he was like, just one? I was like, just one. Yup. And he was like, that doesn't explain the vomit. And I was like, true, you're right. And I'm like, okay. The thing is, Dad, I promised I wouldn't tell anybody. He's like, what? And I was like, okay, fine, I'll tell you, because I like you. I'll tell you the truth. First of all, do you know what a period is, like, for girls? And he's like, I'm familiar. And I was like, okay. Well, Dad, that's what happened. She perioded it all over the house. And then she vomited it also on the house, and it was disgusting. But I cleaned it up because I'm a good person. You raised a good one, Dad. He's like, okay, son, thank you for telling me. I was like, you got it. So get up, start to head out. And then he tells me he's going to run over my Xbox with his car if I don't tell him the truth. And I'm like, okay, I threw a party, damn. God, you raised a cool son, okay? God forbid I'm fucking cool. He wasn't that mad. Speaking of God, though. Speaking of God. I just said God, you guys. Come on, follow, transition. I like talking about God. I think it's interesting. I think it's inevitable. You know, I was just having a conversation with my roommates last night about God. It just comes up a lot. I hate hearing celebrities talk about God, though. That's my least favorite. Yeah. Yeah. The other day I was scrolling on Instagram and Justin Bieber's story popped up. And it said something like, even when the path is dark, there will be light. Because God is good. And he has a plan for all of us. And I was like, easy for you to say, Justin Bieber. God's plan for you is fucking dope, okay? God's plan for me is like, wake up. Get a smoothie. Take a nap. That's the whole plan. I'm like, come on, man. I want a better divine plan. I'm on like the Boost Mobile of divine plans right now. Also, I got the balding add-on. You know, I want the balding add-on. I didn't ask for that. Give me like the backflip add-on, like the super dick add-on or something. Because, okay, you know, they say you get your hairline from your mother's father. And y'all, my mother's father looked like some new species of human that evolved to be hairless. Like a seal. I swear if you chopped off his head, you could bowl a perfect game. I just get afraid that I'm gonna go bald and I'm never gonna get a date again and I'm gonna end up dying alone. Which, I know that's stupid. There's plenty of bald men with ugly wives. But then I was thinking, I was like, Aidan, why are you stressing? You know, all you gotta do if you go bald is find a girl whose hairless cat just died and is craving that feeling of rubbing on some wrinkly skin. You know? You might be thinking, Aidan, your head doesn't look like a cat. I know, okay, but that's the great thing about bald heads. You get some markers, draw a cat face on there, then all I have to do is be like, sup, shorty? Meow. Balding for real does scare me though. Cause like, I feel like it's confirmation that you're getting old, which I don't like. I don't like getting old. Actually, I fucking hate getting old. Shit makes me pissed. No, actually, you know what? Y'all mind if I do a roast real quick? Would that be cool? Y'all, you guys down for a roast? All right, bet. Hey, RJ.
Yo, what up?
Hit it. Oh, shit. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the roast of old people! That's right. That's right. Bet y'all didn't think you were coming to a roast tonight, huh? Yeah. All right, my beef with old people, let's begin. First of all, they get to move everywhere at the ideal pace. Slow and steady, never adhering to a schedule. You know, I was thinking about getting my hip replaced just so that when I showed up late somewhere, I could be like, sorry, my metal hip was acting up. That's hard as fuck! Also, old people don't even have to walk if they don't want to. They're given the option to go pretty much anywhere they want on what is effectively a go-kart, okay? I don't want that option, man. Lord knows I'll be taking that bitch everywhere if I could. Airport, go-kart. Mall, go-kart. Tour, go-kart. Cafe, go-kart. Gun show, go-kart. Running, go-kart. Visiting Maine, go-kart. Strip club, go-kart. Rizzing, go-kart. Praying, go-kart. Meeting, Magic Johnson, go-kart. Voting, go-kart. Rave, go-kart, swimming? Probably not. Probably wouldn't take a go-kart swimming and mess up the interior of it. But hell, if there was a go-kart toilet, I'd poop in that thing. Don't worry, I'm working on it. Speaking of pooping, old people are the only people whose bowel movements we celebrate. Like, what the hell? Come on, old people get to treat pooping like it's some special event. When my grandma poops, the news spreads through my family like somebody's getting married. My mom will come run in the kitchen. Aidan, did you hear? Mimi finally pooped. I guess those prunes we got her for her birthday worked. Come on, man, I wish my poops got that kind of attention. Last time I had a really good poop and told my family about it, everybody got pissed. Okay, it was a spooky one too. Looked like a big old mahogany snake with its head poking out of the water. I took a picture, sent it to the family group chat. They thumbs down the image. Old people get to treat pooping like it's an event. And you know, speaking of events, they just get to sleep right through them. Doesn't matter how important it is, they can doze off. Nobody says a thing. Nobody wants to be awake during a middle school gymnastics meet, okay? Come on. Other year, my grandpa flew 4 hours to see me perform in the school play. It was 2 performances. He slept through both of them. I was like, come on, Pop, even the matinee? That shit was invented for old people. But my parents, they thought it was cute. They were like, oh, you know, at least he came. Yeah. You think they'd be saying that if I slept through his funeral? I don't think so. I'm sorry, you guys. Jealousy just be bringing out the worst in me. Old people get removable teeth. What the fuck? Who doesn't want removable teeth? Okay, I'm sure the girls and the gays in the audience can understand the appeal of removable teeth, you know? Easier to floss. And get blowjobs. Old people also get to live in a home where people do pretty much everything for them. They cook for them, they clean for them, they set up games for them. You know, if I want to live in one such home, I have to either be schizophrenic or try to murder myself. And even then, the digs are not as nice, okay? There is no bohemian home option, right? And old people, this is what really gets me. They don't understand how hard it is to buy a house in today's economy. Okay, my grandpa was telling me that when he was my age, he had a job where he would iron shirts for a nickel. And I guess somehow he saved up enough nickels to buy a house. I mean, come on, y'all. That could never happen in 2025. But God forbid we complain about it, you know? Because then old people are gonna hit you with that phrase they love the most. Say it with me if you know it. When I was your age. Okay, a couple people got it. You know how excited I am to say that and just follow it up with straight lies? Because that's what they do. They just be lying. Like you be chilling in your house. Mom, I'm bored. Your grandpa will pipe up from the other room. You know, when I was your age, my father used to hold me at gunpoint till I finished my homework. And then I'd go out and stay out all night protesting the war, eating nothing but apple seeds and peanut butter. And you're like, what? That doesn't even... No, you didn't. No, you didn't. I try and tell them I'm protesting the war, too. On my Instagram story, I get it done, I get it done. What gets me... I mean... The crazy thing is, I feel like old people even have the advantage in politics nowadays. Because it seems to me like now more than ever, being old and demented gives you the best shot at becoming president of the United States. Moment of silence, man. All right, end the roast. Thank you. Someone had to say it, so I did. Y'all wondering what I'm drinking? Yeah. It's Diet Coke and water. No! I get bored a lot. That's probably why I do this. I don't know if it's because I have like bad hobbies or I have that like short attention span thing, but I spend a lot of time like thinking about myself and my values and my life and like things I could do. And the other day I was thinking, and I was like, damn. I would totally get recruited by ISIS. Now, hear me out, you guys. All I'm saying is, if I was chilling at my apartment and I was bored, like I am all the time, and some dude came up knocking on the door talking about, hey, you trying to go drive around in trucks and shoot rocket launchers at shit? I'd be like, hell yeah! Is there a catch? And he'd be like, nah. But when you die, you get 72 virgins. 72 virgins, because that's what the ISIS book says, y'all, is you get 72 virgins when you die. That's crazy. It's the real doctrine. I'm just 72 virgins? Y'all, that is way too many virgins. What are you going to do with all those virgins? You going to sleep with all of them, really? Because, I mean, you're going to have to be hitting it raw. Pretty sure God's not a huge fan of condoms, right? And then you're going to be getting at least 72 what are we texts on your heavenly superphone or whatever the fuck they use to communicate up there, right? I know that sounds like a horrible way to spend eternity to me. Personally, I want just one virgin and a Nintendo Switch. And the virgin would just be to play Super Smash Bros. With. And you know they'd be good at it because, well, they're a virgin. It's crazy to me because the U.S. military sort of recruits kids the same way. Just, I mean, I'm sure y'all have like seen the ads on like YouTube and stuff that make war look like fun. It's like a game or something. And I'm just surprised that people join because it's so scary nowadays. They got like nukes and drones and targeted missiles and these big ass guns and shit. It wasn't scary back then. You know, like during the Civil War. That shit was pretty much just dodgeball. I'm serious, but like the race their guns were fine, like those muskets. All right, I'm gonna do a Civil War reenactment for you guys, real quick. This is a Union soldier, okay? Reloading his gun on the battlefield. Here we go. Oh, oh shit. Oh shit. Hey, hey, now we get one of our soldiers back. I was thinking about it though, and what made me kind of sad about the Civil War is like people that were the people that were fighting were like probably kids sort of our age, and I was like, damn, you know, those kids never got to experience like going to college, making an Instagram account, like they had to be digging trenches in the mud or whatever they were doing. But I mean, okay, I guess there are like some sort of shitty things about being in college too, like the dorms. Like I had to live in the dorms last year, and it's hard to like share such a small space with someone you don't really know, you know. Luckily, I had a really nice roommate. His name was Caden. Shout out Caden. But we got into it a couple times. We had some issues. Like I remember one time at the beginning of the year, he was out of the room. I was in there, and he had this like set of weights, and I never asked him if I could use them. But I just went ahead and did because I wanted to, you know, because it's our room. And so I was doing a little self-love exercise, bicep curls in the mirror in my underwear. And so I'm curling it up, and I hear the door open, and Caden comes in. I'm like, yo. And he's like, yo. And I'm like, is it chill if I use these? And he's like, yeah, it's chill. But I could tell from the look on his face, it was not chill at all. But he got me back. He would stay up until like 2 a.m. playing fucking 2K and yelling at the game, set a pick, set a pick. I remember one night he was playing, it was so late. I woke up and I was like, bro. And he turned around and he saw me. He's like, see, even Aidan thinks that was a crazy play. And I was like, bro. This is not watching you play 2K. Me and him got hella comfortable though. We got so comfortable. Actually, okay, fine. I'm gonna start this story from the beginning. Y'all. One night, we were chilling on our beds. We were both on our phones. I was pretty high. I've been sucking on that Delta 8, and I was scrolling on Instagram Reels, and I came across this video that I swore was like the funniest video I've ever seen. It was this video of a dog eating tofu. And I was like, bro, a dog eating tofu, that's not food for dogs, you know? He was like, wah, oh, wah, oh, wah, oh, wah. I don't know. This video just got me though. I swear, I was like, it just had me crying. I was like writhing around in my bed. I had to put my phone down because I was laughing so hard. And I was like, ah, and then I was like, oh. I was like, no. I look over at Caden. He didn't notice anything. I was like, all right, at least I'll chill about it. And so I go into the bathroom, I lock the door, and I pull my pants down. And sure enough, I had nutted to that Instagram I had laughed so hard I nutted to the Instagram reel, okay, of the dog eating tofu. But I was freaking out, okay? This had not happened to me before. I was like, I don't know what to do. Is this like a 911 situation? Maybe I need to call my pediatrician, or maybe I was like, I should get on Reddit. Like, this could be happening to other people. And so I'm stressing. I'm standing there with my pants down. I'm trying to think. I'm like, bro, Aidan, this has got to be the weirdest thing that ever made you nut, bro. Oh my God. And I'm thinking, I'm like, oh wait, no. The weirdest thing that ever made me nut has got to be fucking a sloppy old microwave banana peel. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all have been wonderful. All right, hey, real quick, you guys. Guys, thank you all so much for coming out. That was so much fun. Thank you. Before we get out of here, I just have a couple big thank yous I want to give. First and foremost, one of my great friends in the back, RJ, doing the sound and lights. Give it up for RJ. My boy. Second, we got AJ filming. Thank you so much. And finally, the incredible, the incomparable Audrey Gold for directing this show. Thank you, Audrey. I love you. Thank you guys so much for coming out. This has been so much fun. Y'all have a wonderful night. Hey, get home safe. Get home safe, you guys.